I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. When someone's ready, I would accept and approve motion to approve the agenda. Can you hear me?
Barely. There you go.
Can you hear me now? Nobody's made a motion yet. We have a motion, we have a second?
Yes, we do.
Okay. Questions, comments? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Please look at the minutes of the last two meetings. I entertain a motion to approve the minutes for the board meeting held on February 10th and February 19th. Yeah, motion is second. Any comments? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. The bills are on the back of the agenda. Maybe that's next. When you're ready, I'll accept a motion to pay the bills for the month.
I'll make a motion to approve the bills.
We have a motion, we have support. Any comments? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. At this time, we'll have public comments on the agenda items in front of you. Do we have any comments at this time? If not, we'll move on to the supervisor's report. Since last month, we've had some controversy over the Paris Road property. It's not done yet. Something about a trailer that our contractor had taken. There some kind of hold up on that. I guess that was resolved by the court. Now the guy has time to clean up some of this stuff before we can get back in there again. That was the judgment given by the judge. Coral Elevator property, as you can see, the concrete has been ground. That's very nice. I have to contact him and see how long it's going to be before he moves that mountain of crushed concrete. The township cleanup is coming April 26th. You'll want to make sure to put that on your calendar. We always have a big, large, huge participation in that. Last time, what did we do? 11 dumpsters? 11 80-yard dumpsters, so hauling the crap out of coral and trooping. The annual budget review will be March 29th on Saturday. What time is that? 9 a.m. All these things are on the calendar, but I just thought I'd bring it up to you guys. And that's all I have for the supervisor's report. Do we have the treasurer's report, please?
All right, so attached in the handouts, we have the reconciliation for all of our accounts for February. A couple of call-outs, just the net surplus was $103,336.26. Most of that due to tax collection, and then we gained $1,961.18 in interest across our accounts, with the exception of tallying our quarterly accounts. So those will be in the next report, as we should get our quarterly statements on 3/31. One note about interest on the budget. So in our overall general fund budget versus actual, you'll notice that for line 101-665 for interest, it's showing that we are behind pace by $12,495.70. We're not actually behind pace, it just has to be transferred into our accounts. So essentially, I'm going to look at all of the accounts for the tax season, get everything zeroed out, and all of that interest will be moved over before the end of the fiscal year budget by 3/31. We are on par to get really close to that final number for interest that was projected for the year. All right, and then a couple of other items. We finished the reconciliation of the tax money market account. As you recall, we had to go back starting in July of 2024 and re-reconcile July, August, September, October, and November. So that has been completed. Just the only thing of note is that there was a total of $9,067.73 in cash deposits that could not be verified. Cash entries in the BS&A detail not verified totaled $9,089.85, which is a difference of $22.12. So that means essentially that we receipted $22.12 more in taxes than we collected in cash for those months. It's not a significant number. It could be rounding errors, receiving errors, but we at least were able to get all of the months properly reconciled, and then we have just that manual entry of the $22.12 that we could not align to BSA receiving. All of the tax accounts are reconciled through the end of February. So on that note, and it's a good segue, the 2024 taxes are complete. Everything has been receipted. Final disbursements have been cut with the exception of the fire board check, which we have that contract on the table to talk about tonight. So once we have that discussed, I'm going to be cutting a final check for the fire. But as far as the taxes go, all the disbursements are cut. Final backup to the tax rolls have been sent to the county. Final disbursement reports have been sent to the county. And then we'll just be working on zeroing out all of those accounts, so getting all the interest shifted, getting everything zeroed out for the April 1st deadline. My next focus will be shifting to setting up the BSNA online setup, so that for our summer 2025 taxes, we can begin collecting money online through BSNA. And we're also going to be working on setting up Clover in the office, which will allow us to take digital payments for cemetery and rentals. So anything that anybody wants to come in and pay for, we can receive on credit card or debit card or.
So it's cemetery zoning.
Cemetery zoning, rentals. Yeah.
Okay.
And then one item I just wanted to address from last month, there was, and I've just heard this confusion, so I just wanted to clarify the confusion. The $1,000 that was paid to Trusted Solutions was not for training. So I just wanted to clarify that Trusted Solutions is used to do a third-party balance of the clerks and treasurer's books because we have to keep completely separate books. So Blaine comes in, she reviews everything that Andy submits, she reviews everything that I submit, and then she makes sure both reconcile at the end of each month. That service previously wasn't used for the treasurer's books, so we started using her for that because we have the funds approved, and it's another eye on everything, right? So the amount that goes to Blaine monthly, you will see that tick up because I'm starting to use her. And then there was an additional maybe $100 or $200 that was spent on the reconciliation piece. So just wanted to throw that out there because we had discussed it at previous meetings.
Yep.
So those are everything I have for the treasurer's report.
Where are we on the online payments for the town?
So it's authorized through BSNA Online. We just have to do the full setup with BSNA, and I have to go through a training, which is a multi-day training.
Okay.
So I told them.
I know you had talked
Yeah.
about that.
So we knew we weren't going to get it up in time for the end of winter taxes. So I've reached back out to BSNA, and we're going to get all of that scheduled, but it'll all be set up for when taxes come due July 1st.
Thank you. Entertain a motion to accept the treasurer's report.
Move to accept the presented. Support.
Any questions? Any comments? Thank you for the work that you've done. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Clerk's report, please.
As you know, we have an election on May 6th for the two schools. I have sent out absentee applications already for people who are on the permanent absentee application list. If you're on a permanent ballot list, meaning we'll just automatically send you a ballot and you're not going to be home, ballots are going to be sent out. The latest weekend we're supposed to get them is March 27th from the county. So they'll be going out the end of March. And we just need, I've sent communication out to some people on that have already said that they wouldn't be around to get that. And the clerk weekend election office hours will be Saturday, May 3rd from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. I just wanted to do a little thing about opinions versus facts, because at the last board meeting, it was stated by an audience member, Ms. Robin Polson, said her opinion that I was getting paid $40,000. I'd like to clarify that my W-2 was worth $20,183. That is factual. That is exactly what it was. So, it was about approximately $683 extra over top of my salary. So that equates to about 4 hours extra a month of doing non-statutory duties that aren't anyone's statutory duties, just the functions of this business of doing that I charged the township for. So I just wanted to clarify that if anyone was thinking that I was getting that, not doing it for the money and certainly not getting rich at all. Reminder, there's no clerk office hours on Monday, March 17th or the 31st due to trainings I will be at. And last but not least, I have binders. Julie, do you want to help me pin these out? This is part of my end of my Township Governance Academy, my final project that I did for this academy that I did. And it was taking information that I've learned throughout the course, and I made a binder for everybody, which I wish we would have had when we first got in office. What this has is, the first thing you're gonna see is a vision self-assessment for the board, for us to do. I'd like each of us to be able to do that and come back in the next couple months and be able to talk about how we scored ourselves, because that was something really I found interesting about creating a vision for our township, what we want to do going forward. You'll also notice that you have all the contact information for every board. And then if you look through, there are tabs for keeping for your minutes, for the financials, for the planning commission minutes, for the fire board minutes. You have contact information in here about the cemetery, what it costs to do things. You have the information about the rental prices for the community center. And then there's Montcalm MTA schedule in here. There's a schedule for zoning and escrow fees. There is all of our policies and procedures that we have adopted so far. So we'll be adding to that as we go through. There's also stuff about the poverty exemptions that we have done, the purchase policy, and there is also a tab in here for our liability insurance, so that if, you come rolling up and the building's gone, you'll know who to call.
Well, the book was in the building.
Exactly, right, because the information was in here and it's gone. I felt that was something that that each as a board member, you guys have, I may be the keeper of information, the securer of information, but I'm not the hoarder of information. You guys need to have all this information at your fingertips as well. So we'll be adding to this, so as going forward, I will make sure that your minutes and stuff are 3-hole punched, so that you can add to it and keep it in your binder and bring your binder with you, so that as we need to look at policies or anything like that, it will be at your fingertips. So this is my final project that I did for my academy, and this is what I will be showing to the head of education from Michigan Township Association within the next 2 weeks for my final grade. But if there's anything that's not in here that you'd like to see in here, please let me know, and I'll make sure that I get you that information. But I wanted something that you guys could have that was easily accessible. So if you have residents reaching out that have questions, this is the best way, so you have that information.
Yep,
And
all in one spot.
all in one spot.
Thank you very much.
Andy, real quick, you said there were Saturday clerk hours for voting. Is that here or is it standard?
That's just mandatory hours that we have to have, so if somebody needs an absentee ballot, we're not doing early voting for the school
Yeah,
election.
okay. knew there
I
was a
did toy with
difference.
that notion of having it early, because we have that option,
Okay,
but we missed the deadline with that, because I wasn't sure if I had to get some clarification. But we can, going forward, if we desire to, if there is another local election, we could have just the weekend, the Saturday, Sunday, and then have the Tuesday election hours.
I just didn't want somebody showing up thinking they were gonna vote that day.
No,
Because I
that
wasn't
is-
sure on it.
Nope,
But,
thank you
yeah.
for that clarification,
Yeah.
that it is strictly for if somebody needs to get an absentee
Okay.
ballot,
All
they
right.
can come in, we have to be here for 8 hours, so it will be 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. that day.
Otherwise, they need to go to Stanton to vote.
No.
They're gonna do early voting.
There is no early
There
voting
is
at
no
all.
early, okay.
Early voting
Good.
early voting is only required for state and federal elections.
Okay, okay,
This is just the school, that's all
Okay.
that is on there is Lakeview School.
got it now.
So
Okay,
it will be just a one-day election
okay.
on May 6th. And that's it.
Okay, thank you. We have a report from the planning commission, Lee?
Yep, we had a meeting last Monday, and didn't remember Bruce Durr was there for the first meeting. We left the officers and stuff. Ann said she was staying as secretary. Tricia Wells will be the new chairperson. And Bill is the new vice chair. We finished the mobile home ordinance, the auxiliary housing thing. And we set up the March 31st for the public hearing date for both ordinances. We're done with them. The next meeting we have, we're gonna start going over the master plan. And then we're gonna start our every other month meetings after that.
That's it?
Yep.
Okay, thank you very much, Lee. Report from the zoning administrator. Dave?
For the month of February at 12978 Walter Road, replace a home at 1274 South Kohler, enclosed repair a deck building, and at 5387 North Black Road, in-law suite. And that's it.
Thank you. Report from fire board?
Yeah, fire board report. Mostly we just talked about things that needed to be maintained. We're doing a tranny repair on the rehab unit. We're talking about insulating at the fire station. We repaired the gas meter. Lots of runs for the month. 2 rekindles, 2 structure fires, 1 structure fire, 2 possible structure fires. And the chief was talking about all the crazy things going on lately. He just said they've been buried in unusual things. You know, abnormal accidents, and he said they're flip-flopping, but some of them are coming with a little bit of a violent twist, you know. So, other than that, pretty quiet on the fire board front.
Okay, thank you. This is out of order, but, May, I've had some questions about the Trumpet Park. Could you give us a little bit of an update? I think people would like to know that.
Parks is working on getting together all of our members for just kind of like a spring planning session. But we
Okay.
have funds that are remaining and left over, planned for putting in topsoil and mulch and grass seed. So just waiting on the weather to get a little bit more agreeable. We did also notice that there has been some more trenching with the sand that was put down. So we'll probably need to see how much Josh will charge us to do a little bit more sand or leveling before we move straight into the topsoil. But we should be okay as far as budgeting concerns with that.
Thank you very much. Unfinished business. We have a municipal building on the agenda. Hot water heater, blinds. The blinds are in. I'm supposed to put those in. I'll have those probably done this week. And I don't know where we are on the water heater.
I think they'll be here this week.
Okay, cool. Sweet. Thank you. Put that to rest.
Just a note on that, we need to make sure they invoice us promptly. We have to have that money paid out of the account by 3/31.
Some of it was coming from ARPA, and that ARPA funds has to be depleted, so then I have to do reporting in the beginning of April to show that we
Spent it all.
That's it all.
Or we have to pay it all back.
Okay. New business. Fire district contract. You have something to say about that.
I do. You guys each have a copy of this. I met last Monday with a representative of each township, which is Cato, Hinton, and Pine. And on page 4 of the contract, you'll notice that is where, how they had this originally set up was, because Hinton didn't have they did not take a tax. They didn't have a fire tax. So they had it where we were giving payments to the fire district every 1st of March and the second half by September, because they used to invoice them and tell them what their portion was. Well, now that they have a millage, they have a fire millage, so all 4 of us now do. So this is prompting, just changing this so that it states that each township will contribute the equivalent of 1 mill, which is subject to Headley rollback. We wanted to make sure we had that language in there. And that after each winter tax collection, each township will pay their share of the taxes collected through February 28th, no later than April 1st. And then any remaining funds collected will be paid no later than June 1st. We're changing that so we can have that language in there. So it will be a tax disbursement So it will be, the fire department will get their money upfront and they don't have to wait for it. And, the other thing that we'd like to do, is Cato has offered to send this agreement to, their attorney, which is Foster Swift. All of us use that except for Hinton. And what we'd like to do is split the cost. Brandy, said if the lawyer looked at it for 5 hours, each of us would have to pay around $312. We don't think it will take us 5 hours to look this over, because when we were pulling this out, Cato found documents from in 2000s, right before this was signed, from an attorney that said, you need to have an attorney look at this contract just to make sure all parties are covered, and to make sure there isn't any other language that we need to have in here to protect both the fire district and the municipalities. So we would like to get authority, or get authorization to split that cost with Cato Township, just to make sure that we've done our due diligence, that there isn't anything more in here that we need to make sure that the fire district, you know, is covered for anything that we have in here, because it really wasn't ever looked over by an attorney from what we can gather. We just want to make sure that there isn't anything else that,
Might ruin our liability.
well, for liability for us,
Involvement in it.
for liability for us and liability as the fire authority themselves, just to make sure that they're covered, we're covered, you know, so that, since it is an intergovernmental account. So, I'm gonna make a motion that we split the cost with Cato, Pine, and Hinton to have this reviewed by our attorney. So Cato, like I said, Cato's gonna send it, it's Foster and Swift would be the ones that would review it. And we're thinking 312 would be the maximum, would be our quarter. That would be as if she took 5 hours to look this over. But that's,
Any comments on this? I think it's a good idea myself.
I'll second that.
We have a second? No comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
and just so that I have it officially, does everybody agree with the language, the change of the language to?
It's the one that's in red?
Yes, yes,
Okay.
it simplifies it, it literally makes it much easier, because like I said, it'll be easier, the fire district, I
better
know
than
that
us.
they said they were thinking of changing their fiscal year to possibly April 1st. Did you guys discuss that?
A little bit.
So that you guys, then if they did that, then if they have the tax distributions, then it'll be easier for the fire authority to actually budget and know, hey, here's everything that we have. So, okay, so everyone agrees that the wording is good as well.
Okay, thank you for that. You want to explain the PA 116 out there?
Oh, yeah, sorry. We just need to make a motion to accept, we got a application here for a piece of property at, it's not there, because it really, it's a piece of farmland. From Chocos that they want to have, it looks like it has 2 parcel ID numbers, we just need to say, yes, we're fine with them putting it into the PA 116 program. It's a formality that we have to do, and then we just have to have it in there, and then I have to sign it as the clerk and send it on to the farmland development rights. So that,
I entertain a motion that we fulfill our obligation to this farmer. So moved. I'll support it. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. On your purple sheet, you have a list of the dates. This is just formality. It'll be for the board meetings and for the Maple Valley Township planning commission meetings.
PC already did, they did theirs.
Yeah, they did theirs, we're just
Yeah, we
looking
moved
at
it
it.
back the last,
Yeah,
that one
that
week.
was yours,
We
yeah,
shoved it back
except
a
for the
month,
May,
every
yeah.
back a month, so.
Yep,
Okay,
yeah, you did theirs, we gotta do ours.
yeah.
They're just down the same list. So it's basically the first Monday of every month. Second Monday of every month, I apologize. You want to vote on that?
Yes. If we- yeah.
Entertain a motion that we accept these dates as our meetings for the year. Or, you made the motion? Okay, nicely. Keep us on our toes. Anybody, anybody have any questions, comments about that? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. And at this time, we will entertain any public comment about anything.
I have a question. In the, I don't know which meetings it was. The last meeting, Lee had said that the planning commission was going to start the auxiliary dwelling unit ordinance. But when they came into the meeting, the attorney had already wrote the ordinance. Was there a reason that the attorney wrote the ordinance instead of the planning commission writing it? I was just thrown off when we came
Well,
into the
it's just-
meeting.
They probably looked it over. It's just a lot easier to copy somebody else's. And that's what our attorney did.
I know, that's why I was wondering why the attorney did it instead of the planning commission writing the ordinance. It was just, the meeting, he said they were getting ready to start the ordinance at the next meeting. Come into the next meeting and the ordinance is already handed out and said, the attorney wrote this is a draft, do we want to accept it? Is something happening that, with the PC not writing ordinances now, or why, was just curious why that happened.
Well, there's a lot of steps you have to go when you write yourself. If you're starting blind, it's much easier to follow someone else's lead.
Well, they had 3 or 4 ordinance to go off from, just like any other ordinance to do it. I just, it was never mentioned that the attorney was doing it, so we paid money for the attorney to do it as opposed to the PC, and it was never brought up. I just thought it was a waste of our township money for the attorney to write an ordinance that we pay the PC to do.
Well, we have attorneys look at them anyways, so. I have no answer.
So is that,
It
that's,
was available, so we gave it to them. They just looked it over, did what they wanted with it.
so are they gonna continue writing ordinances, or are you gonna do this with all ordinances and just hand them to the attorney? Are we gonna spend money for the attorney to do
Give
that?
them opportunities to write whatever they want. The more information they have, the better. Anybody else?
Yeah, the blight situation out there in Trufa, 5 trailers were taken from that property, legal trailers. 1 has been returned. It's been a month. Why are they not returned yet?
That has to do with the person we contracted to take care of the stuff.
To steal trailers? According to the judge.
Did the judge tell them to return them?
Yep.
I don't, you're,
At that
It
last
says
year.
any, right in the judgment. It says any trailers, legally plated trailers need to be returned.
They only have 2, and at the March 4th hearing, the judge stated as long as there was legal documentation showing proving
All right
ownership.
here.
We don't need to
Nobody's
see
ever
it.
asked for it.
we
and-
don't need to see it. All you gotta do
And
is
all
you're
you
supposed
have
to
to
be
do
able
is
to talk to.
contact Scott Cook, who that was already done.
He's out of town. He's out of state. He says he's out of state all the time.
Then, I was gonna say, because that was addressed in court last Tuesday.
That was a judgment against him.
And it
Last
said-
Tuesday?
Yes,
That's fine. I never got no paperwork to go to court Tuesday.
then you'll have to take that up with the Montcalm County Court District because we don't handle their scheduling.
Okay, I'll just call the cops and make a report then, thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Nothing? Well, I guess, unless you want to sit here and talk for a while, I'll entertain a turn. Motion to adjourn. Okay.
Support that motion.
Man, seems bad to leave after 35 minutes. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, you're released.